Hi everyone, in today's video we would like to show you how to perfectly square your blocks for quilting. These steps can also be used when squaring your quilt after all the stitching is complete before attaching the binding. If you do not have a perfectly squared quilt before you attach the binding of the quilt, the ends might curl up and the edges may be wavy. There are a few steps to follow to ensure your quilt comes out perfectly square. 1. Use a ruler when cutting your fabric. 2. Use a rotary cutter and cutting mat instead of scissors, as this will ensure a straight cut. 3. Sew as straight as possible in the construction of your quilt. 4. Square as you go if you have multiple blocks. Continue to construct the rest of your quilt block using your preferred method and iron as you go. Add your batting and back fabric and sandwich your blocks using 505 or any temporary spray adhesive, and use quilting safety pins to pin the layers together. To avoid your fabric from moving, pin the safety pins no more than 4 fingers apart in multiple directions. Continue to sew the layers of fabric together using a walking foot and do any decorative stitching the quilt block might need before squaring your block, as top stitching tends to shrink the block. 5. Use the lines where the patchwork comes together or a border to square the block. 6. Use the line on the ruler on the seam allowance to create an edge strip or border, and then cut. 7. Evaluate the width of the border that is required. Cut as close to the edge of the border fabric as possible, but ensure you can cut the same width border all around. 8. When the ruler is lined up, use a sharp, maybe even a new rotary blade, to make one even clean cut all the way through and apply good pressure. This will prevent you from sawing back and forth. Please remember to always cut away from you. 9. When it comes to corners, make sure the ruler's lines line up with the correct line to ensure the perfect 90-degree angle. Use the ruler's edge to line up the first straight edge to ensure the second edge is square to the first edge. 10. On a straight edge, align half of your ruler's length on the previous cut and the other half on your seam allowance, and continue to cut. 11. When you are cutting the last edge or side, align the ruler on the seam allowance and ensure the top and bottom edge are both the same width. This will be a good indication that all 4 corners are completely square. Even though this is a small sampler quilt, the same principles apply for cutting a big quilt. If necessary, turn your cutting mat to make the longest cut possible that is comfortable without the ruler moving and shifting. If you have more tips and tricks for squaring your quilt, send us a message on info@runco.co.za and we could feature your tip in our next video. Please like, subscribe and follow our channels for more tutorials, tips and videos.